What was your first job? What did you learn from it? And what had your parents, schools, others done to best prepare you for it?
So my first real job was when I was in high school. As I told you earlier, I ran a fourth-generation family business. My father before me ran the company. And the day after I graduated from high school, I came into the office and I began to sell envelopes and printed materials. And my father said, go out and talk to your customers and listen. He said, Steve, you were born with one mouth and two ears. Use them in that proportion. He said, nobody ever learned anything when they were talking. Listen to your customers. So I went out all over the city of Boston, walked on a hot summer day, and day after day, and I listened. And I came back, and every day my father said, what did you learn? Whom did you meet with? And I told him about each experience. And I got better and better and better because I got to pare down my talking, and I did more listening. And when you listen to customers, and whether it's in the for-profit sector or whether it's citizens who are customers of government, you realize that customer-facing experience is everything. And if you give people good service, good quality, good value, and you're professional at every time, just as in business, government can work and work more effectively. Be a great listener.
Jeff McCormick.
Well, when I was 5, I wanted my first job to be a member of the Jackson 6, but that didn't work out. So instead it was shoveling snow and mowing lawns. Soon after that, though, I started working in the trades as a roofer, a mason tender, a carpenter's assistant, as I was in high school, really learning what to do. But my public school teachers and my coaches kept pushing me, saying, you've got what it takes, you're going to be able to go to college. I couldn't afford college, by the way, but they said, just keep going at it. And to me, and with the support of my family, they just had this unrelenting faith in who I could be. And that made all the difference in my life. Now, a disturbing part of the story, I walk to work, and I purposely walk by places where there are a bunch of kids in Boston waiting to take mass transportation to school. And when I talk to the kids and I ask them, are you guys going to college? Are you even thinking about it? Even 9th, 10th graders, they say, no, absolutely not. More than half the kids. And I've been doing this as a kind of a survey in my head. And to me, there's something wrong with that.
Don Berwick.
I grew up in a very small Connecticut town that was it had many hotels in it. It was a summer resort town, and all those kids, to make money, we worked waiting on tables. That was my first job. Boy, it was hard. I remember one lady who found her roast beef to be too well done and yelled at me. So I took it back to the chef, who turned it over, added gravy, and said, there, rare. I was caught in the middle, and I just remember the sweat and the anxiety and the sense of helplessness, and my feet hurt. And I've had a wonderful career since then. I've loved every minute of what I've gotten to do as a physician and an executive and government leader. But I'll never forget how hard that work was, and I never, ever go into a restaurant or see someone trying to serve me without remembering those moments. And frankly, when we have a fight about minimum wage of $11 an hour, which just gets you to the poverty level for a family of 4, it drives me crazy. A living wage is what we need.
Evan.
I was in high school, and I was taking a class about the economics of business or something like this. And a couple friends of mine and I managed to convince the teacher that it would be a really good learning experience if they let us open up a snack bar at the high school where we could learn what it meant to run a small business. Turned into a fairly profitable little small business for high school kids to be running. And of course we ended up having the inevitable disagreements over whether we should be selling Coke and Mountain Dew or adding Sunkist into the mix, whether gummy worms were better than gummy rats. These are significant issues that we managed to work our way through. But it was a great learning experience to have that. I mean, there is nothing like being out there on your own. And what it taught me from that experience, and I'm still close with the people that I did that with, is you can do things. Even if you don't think it's possible, that you can really create something if you work at it.
And Martha Coakley.
So thank you. And Don, I hope you're a good tipper now. You learned that, right? And you learned that lesson. My very first job was babysitting, 50 cents an hour. That'll give you some idea how old I am. You got $1 if it was after midnight, but that was only when I was older. My first real job where Uncle Sam took a percentage out and withheld taxes was when I turned 16. I worked in Howard Johnson scooping ice cream, not unlike Don's first job. And it certainly taught you discipline, multitasking. I learned, too, that giving someone their cup of tea but pouring coffee instead of water in was not a good idea for the teapot. And certainly understanding, as Don said, that those jobs now that were our first jobs often are the mainstays for people who have it as a full-time job. So raising that minimum wage is important because those people are barely getting by. And it does mean a shortage of those kinds of jobs for our younger people. And I know looking at getting that first experience, the job that will teach you discipline, teach you how to deal with people, is really important for all our kids. And I'm out of time, but I think we're going to talk about that need to make sure our kids are able to get that experience and get those first jobs.